Galactus.
While Galactus, the Devourer of Worlds, recently made his big screen debut, his history in the comics goes all the way back to 1966's Fantastic Four, number 48. And Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four. First steps on Disney Plus. This immensely powerful being sustains himself by consuming the life energy of entire planets. To find those snacks, he's employed a long line of powerful heads, despite the fact that they keep rebelling against him, again and again. Yeah, he's pretty hard to work for. To document his decades of comic history, we've assembled a Galactus-sized recap to cover all of his greatest secrets, like where did Galactus come from? Is he merely a force for destruction, or does he serve some greater role in the universe? How did he fit into Marvel's Secret Wars? And how did he run into Deadpool and Squirrel Girl? We're here to answer all those questions and more. This is Marvel Recap Galactus, with a special shout out to the official handbook of the Marvel Universe Research Team and the Marvel Studios Story Team for their help.
अस्सलामुअलैकुम नाज़रीन, रात 9 बजे के एएसडी के स्पेशल बुलेटिन में हम आपको खुशामदीद कहते हैं। स्टडी अब्रॉड एस्पिरेंट्स के लिए अच्छी खबर। एएसडी की जानिब से पाकिस्तान के तमाम बड़े शहरों में स्टडी अब्रॉड एक्सपो का इंतकाद किया जा रहा है, जहां आप यूके, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, न्यूजीलैंड, आयरलैंड और जर्मनी के रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से मिल सकते हैं, अपने पसंदीदा कोर्सेज के बारे में मालूमात हासिल कर सकते हैं, स्कॉलरशिप एक्सप्लोर कर सकते हैं और वहीं रहते अपनी एप्लीकेशन भी प्रोसीड करवा सकते हैं। इसके अलावा एक्सपर्ट काउंसलर्स आपको एडमिशन प्रोसेस के बारे में फ्री गाइडेंस प्रोवाइड करेंगे। तो अगर आप अपना फ्यूचर ग्लोबल बनाना चाहते हैं, इस मौके को बिल्कुल भी मिस ना करें। आज ही रजिस्ट्रेशन करवाएं और अपने इंटरनेशनल सफर का आगाज करें।
To tell eons. To tell the story of Galactus, we have to travel back eons. Before the Big Bang, to the sixth cosmos. You see, the universe that was first seen in 1939's Marvel Comics #1 was actually the seventh one to be created, with each universe being born from the destruction of the previous one. One of the last remaining planets during the sixth cosmos was Ta, a super advanced world dedicated to science. Highest in the ranks of Ta's citizens were the Scienceers, scientific adventurers that acted much like our modern-day superheroes. The greatest Scienceer was Taya, who grew a baby named Galen in a womb tube of her own design, intending him to someday surpass her as Ta's greatest explorer of the fantastic. In time, Galen grew up to become a celebrated Scienceer himself, only to discover that his universe was ending and that Ta was one of the last worlds in existence. Over the years, various legends have given different reasons for the destruction of the sixth cosmos. Some blamed it on a natural cycle of death and rebirth that periodically led to a big crunch, followed by a new Big Bang. According to Norse god Odin, it was caused by the Galactus seed, a powerful seed that is planted at the heart of each cosmos tree. When one opens, it spawns the next universe, the next world tree, and even the next Galactus. In the dystopian alternate reality known as Universe X, the Kree Supreme Intelligence blamed the end of the sixth universe on the efforts of the giant cosmic beings known as the Celestials, survivors of the first universe known as the first firmament. It was their process of being born in the heart of stars and planets that destroyed Ta and the rest of the universe. More recently, the destruction was blamed on the Black Winter, a giant being that devours entire universes, and who we'll see a lot more of later on. On Ta, the inhabitants started suffering from radiation poisoning. When they could find no cure, Galen and a few survivors escaped their planet in a starship, determined to find what existed outside of space and time. While cosmic rays killed the rest of his crew, Galen heard the dying voice of the sentience of the universe. It offered him a chance to combine with it to create a new being that would survive into the next universe. A galactic ravager that shall be Galactus. The ship emerged, only to spend eons traveling through the void of space. Inside, Galen slowly learned to control his growing cosmic power, creating a bodysuit to help him regulate his awesome energies. At some point, Galactus' ship moved into orbit around the planet Archeopia. The ship circled the planet for years, until it was targeted by an armada of invading warships. The battle caused Galactus to finally emerge from his cocoon and devastate the invading space fleet. Ravenous, Galactus turned his attention to the planet, stripping it of its life-sustaining energies. A small fleet of ships managed to escape, and over the years, the survivors would connect with others who lived through Galactus, consuming their planet, eventually becoming the galactic nomads known as the Wanderers. When Galactus was sated, he sank to the planet and surveyed the destruction he had caused, asking himself, "Am I merely an agent of disorder and destruction?" His answer? No. The power cosmic can be wielded for any purpose, creation as well as annihilation. To prove that, he spent millennia rebuilding the remaining Ethiopian system into a massive world ship, one so huge that planets orbited it as if it were a sun. He named it Ta-2 after his long-destroyed homeworld. He held no anger towards his victims, saying, "Though I ravage worlds to live, I bear no malice toward any living. I simply do what I must to survive." Galactus believed he had a higher purpose, or as he put it, "And why must Galactus survive? For no matter how many worlds I devour, how many civilizations I destroy, it is my destiny to one day give back to the universe infinitely more than I have taken from it." So speaks Galactus.
पानी पूरी भी गई, दाग भी छोड़ गई, बा भी कड़केगी।
भारी नहीं, एक्सप्रेस पावर कड़केगा। जब महंगी पाउडर वाली धुलाई 150 रुपए कम में आए तो क्यों ना पानी पूरी के साथ चना चाट भी हो जाए।
एक्सप्रेस पावर, दाग कौन बचत ऑन।
Movement that inspires.
ultimately good or whether Galactus was ultimately good or evil, he was definitely lonely. That's one of the reasons he spent his existence recruiting different creatures to become his heralds. These powerful beings spent their time seeking out new worlds for Galactus to devour, until they inevitably rebelled against him. And then he'd move on to the next one. No one knows the total number of heralds Galactus has had during his eons of life, but his first companion was his creation, Tyrant, who he created not long after emerging from his incubator. But as you might have guessed from his name, Tyrant soon craved conquest. Becoming jealous of his creator, they fought, leaving Galactus to reduce him in stature and power, then banish him to the farthest edge of the universe. Galactus's earliest confirmed herald was the Fallen One, a being powered by black matter, described as the binding halo by which galaxies are made solvent. But he proved too cruel for Galactus's tastes, and the Fallen One was dismissed from his service. Over the following millennia, the former herald would periodically track down his former master, seeking revenge, only to be defeated time and again. One of Galactus's most surprising heralds has to be Lord Kevin Plunder, also known as the Jungle Warrior, Kazar. After being stranded in Earth's distant past, Kazar found himself fighting a time-traveling child version of Thanos and teaming up with the Avengers of 1 million BC. That's when he discovered that Galactus was about to devour a deal with the big guy, offering to travel the universe, looking for inhabited worlds for him. Galactus agreed and imbued him with a portion of his energy, the power cosmic, where they joined the multiversal Avengers in fighting Mephisto and the multiversal Masters of Evil. And Galactus even became an honorary Avenger. We know that Galactus had at least one more herald, as we got a glimpse of an unnamed herald when Galactus attacked the Earth in 1582. He was fought off by the Italian scientist Galileo, who was an agent of Leonardo da Vinci's secret Brotherhood of the Shield, which would eventually inspire the super spy organization, SHIELD. Eventually, Galactus would encounter his most famous herald, the Silver Surfer, who started out life as Norrin Radd. Like Galen, Radd was originally a scientist, this time on the technologically advanced planet of Zenla. Radd was frustrated that there was nothing new to explore, and his people had lost the thrill of discovery. He confessed this being that he could find no satisfaction with the futuristic delights of Zenla. But when his world was targeted by the Devourer, Radd offered to become Galactus's herald in exchange for sparing Zenla. Galactus shared the power cosmic with him, coating him and granting him a flying board that could travel the cosmos as the Silver Surfer. Norrin reveled in his new power, excited that he'd finally get the lifetime of endless adventure he dreamt about. He returned to the planet to say one final farewell to his love. And super stretchable Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic. Sue Storm, who could turn force fields as the Invisible Girl, and later the Invisible Woman. Ben Grimm, the Rock, and the hot-headed, fiery hero, Johnny Storm, also known as the... Eventually, Galactus's hunger drove him to attempt to consume the Earth again, only to discover it was now protected by the super team, the Fantastic Four. The team consisted of the super genius and super stretchable Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, Sue Storm, Human Torch. When Galactus Human Torch. When Galactus first encountered them, as seen in 1966's Fantastic Four number 48, none of them could have known that they would eventually become both the World Devourer's most bitter enemies and his most trusted acquaintances. The team was first warned of the coming of the World Devourer by Uatu, a member of the alien race known as the Watchers. The Fantastic Four soon found themselves fighting the Surfer and Galactus himself. However, the Fantastic Four's close friend and blind sculptor, Alicia Masters, was able to convince the Surfer to rebel against his master. The battle ended when Uatu sent Johnny to find the ultimate nullifier, a weapon powerful enough to destroy the universe. It was also powerful enough to scare the heck out of Galactus, who agreed to never attack the Earth again in exchange for its return. But before leaving the Earth, Galactus punished the Surfer by stripping him of his ability to leave the planet, thus denying him the excitement and exploration he'd always craved. But soon, Galactus couldn't find worlds to devour on his own, so he sent his cyborg minion, the Punisher, to find the Silver Surfer on Earth. No, not that Punisher. Although, in one alternate timeline, that Punisher would become the herald known as Cosmic Ghost Rider. But we don't have time to get into that here. Anyway, the old cyborg Punisher had a quick tussle with the Fantastic Four, then vanished. Galactus demanded that the Fantastic Four find his minion, or he'd smash a giant meteor into Earth. The team agreed, traveling into the microscopic microverse to find it. Just as Galactus reluctantly targeted the Earth, the Surfer returned and agreed to find a suitable meteor for Galactus to consume. Afterwards, the Surfer demanded his freedom, but Galactus refused, returning the Surfer to his earthly herald. He found one when he encountered Nova Corps member Gabriel Lon, who he transformed into. Prayer Walker was killed by the alien race known as the Ovoids. To save some part of his beloved herald, Galactus created a robot duplicate to serve him, filling it with a part of Airwalker. Dwindling life spark. Galactus then sent the robot Airwalker to Earth, where he used his size-changing trumpet to declare the end of the world. He battled the Fantastic Four and the Silver Surfer, who soon discovered he was a robot when he was greatly damaged, seemingly beyond repair. That's when Galactus arrived, threatening to doom the Earth. Surfer refused, leading to a giant brawl through Coney Island. During the battle, Reed Richards managed to board Galactus' ship and threatened to destroy it if he didn't leave Earth. Galactus responded by threatening to destroy Earth if Reed didn't give him back his ship. So, Reed backed down, with the Surfer ready to follow Galactus into space. That's when Reed revealed he'd sabotaged the controls of Galactus' ship, where there were enough worlds to sustain him for countless ages. But eventually, Galactus and his ship returned to the main